Good afternoon, everyone, and a very warm welcome to the CRNFC grounds here as we prepare for another pre-quarter final encounter between Royal College and Kingswood College. Both teams are just going through their warm-up routines in a very hot and humid London place. We are going to have to say the seventh quarter final today, and both teams no doubt will want to get their 2025 season campaign off to a good start. As you can see, the weather forecast at CRNFC, it's a maximum temperature of 31 Celsius, minimum 25. Don't think it's going to get any lower than that today. And of course, it's quite still here at the ground. The flags are waving, but it's relatively still, which will probably make conditions much more difficult and humid for all concerned. So you can see both teams just going through their routines. Sure, there won't be a very strenuous warm-up given the weather conditions. Very clear skies above. There was some torrential showers during the late morning to afternoon period, but the skies have cleared out, and I don't think we can expect much showers as this game progresses. So joining me in commentary today is a very happy Abid Jamil after Trinity's resounding victory yesterday over their hometown rivals. Abid, good afternoon, and how do you see this game going?
Good afternoon, Abdullah, and good afternoon to all our viewers tuning in to the Papare. Today you have a star-studded lineup, a super Sunday. St. Peter's taking on Thurston College, that's at Royal Complex, and of course the game on our hands, Royal College taking on Kingswood College here at CRNFC. If it's anything to go by, the first few weeks, or the first few games rather, that we've had, Abdullah, has been, some have been one-sided and some have been very close. Where do you see this game going?
Yes, well, it's pretty hard, isn't it, to make a judgment because it's a new set of players. We haven't seen how these teams have performed. Royal generally have always been there or thereabouts in terms of contention for major titles. Kingswood have had it tough over the last few years. As we have a look at the winners over the past 10 years, Wesley winning it in 2013, Isipatana in 2014, then of course Science in 2015. Isipatana once again emerging knockout champions in 2016. St. Joseph's winning their first major schools senior title in 2017. Then of course St. Peter's and Isipatana winning it in the subsequent few years as well. And as you can see, it's Isipatana and St. Peter's who have pretty much been dominant over the last decade or so. But this year we've seen some really good performances from a lot of teams thus far. Just going by what we have seen so far, Wesley looked pretty good in their victory over St. Joseph's. At the same time, DSN and Aika also notched up an impressive win against Dharmaraja, and they will meet the winners of today's encounter. Isipatana expectedly putting on a clinical performance against Sumangala, 61 points to nil. And probably the closest game of the pre-quarter final so far, Zahira, just managing to pip with the Arthur 16 points to 12. St. Thomas's beating their hometown rivals Science College in a very high-scoring affair, 59 points to 35. And of course Trinity yesterday, a runaway victory against their hometown rivals as well, winning comfortably 62 points to 5. So Abid, so far from what we've seen, a lot of teams putting their markers down, some relatively comfortable victories for a lot of the teams. It'll be interesting to see how these two teams fare up against each other. Kingswood have found it a bit difficult over the last 2 to 3 years, but what I'm hearing is they have really built the team up over the last few years, so it'll be interesting to see how they match up against the Royalists today.
Well, absolutely, a lot of teams and a lot of coaches shuffling around, jumping cities, jumping schools as well. So it will be interesting to see how that pans out as well. But of course, Coach Dushant Leuke will continue for Royal for another season. And of course, something that was apparent in the last couple of quarterfinals, Abdullah, is the fact that many teams have scored a lot of tries, but also the fact that the defense from all teams haven't been up to the mark, meaning we've had high-scoring games, but the teams have been able to penetrate the first line of defense very easily. And I think it's that game against Trinity where they were able to hold on to St. Anthony's and not let them go over their line and go over their line only once. But other than that, it was just a lot of runaway games. And I think if that's anything to go by, I think the coaches would want to put their step down and make sure that they get their defensive patterns right. And as you can see, the Royal team warming up, always very colourful when the Royal team warms up. And of course, on the other end, Kingswood College getting their patterns right as well.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, interesting observation. A lot of high-scoring games. Yes, defenses have been found a bit wanting, but we've also got to keep in mind, isn't it? It's just the start of the season. I don't think many of these players have experience of having to play a knockout game in their very first encounter as well, isn't it? It's always been a case where you could ease yourself into the season, more or less. But here, being the knockout tournament being played first, it's been a lot of pressure on these schoolboys, so you need to keep that in mind as well. A lot of these teams probably yet finding their combinations. They've all had good pre-seasons, no doubt, but just coming and hitting your straps immediately is no easy task. So I think everyone's just got to keep that in mind. But nonetheless, a lot at stake in these games because there is basically you lose and there's no tomorrow, isn't it? So as far as the knockout tournament is concerned, so all teams probably realize that they need to hit the ground running, and the teams that have been able to do that are the ones who have actually prevailed.
Well, interesting that you mentioned the fact that they'll be knocked out if they end up losing this game, but it's also important to note that there's a long season coming up starting in June, and something that the coaches would have at the back of their minds is the fact that they would want to keep their teams match fit. So something that I mentioned on air at the DS Dharmaraj game as well is maybe they could play a few friendly games if they get knocked out among the teams that have been knocked out. Just maybe keep their teams match fit because it's a long season and 1 month is a long period of time that you will be away from the game. Of course, they'd have their training sessions, but nothing like being match fit. And something interesting to note, Abdullah, is that these two teams, Royal and Kingswood, met in the first game last season as well in the season opener, where Royal College thumped Kingswood College 60 points to 5. Pretty sure the Kingswood lads from Randalls Hill will want to change their fortunes in their season opener this year.
Yeah, no doubt they will. But also need to keep in mind, isn't it, unlike in club games, in school rugby, there's always a change of the guard, isn't it? A lot of players who leave and a lot of newcomers who come in from the junior levels as well. So it's very hard to predict how the teams have evolved from last year to this year. And we also need to keep in mind that this year, Kingswood coached by a very experienced campaigner in Anand Kasturi Arache. So there's no doubt that he would have got his players primed for the occasion. Kingswood have had it tough over the last 2 to 3 seasons, but from what I'm hearing is they have built players from those junior stages and given them exposure, and I'm sure they're looking to peak this year or even at the next year's tournament. But nonetheless, I think they will want to put in a good performance today. Royal on their part also has been there has been a significant change of the guard in Royal's quarters as well. So there's some good players who have come up from the junior ranks as well. So I'm sure they'll all want to put in a good performance, because what we need to keep in mind, Abid, there's not just in this match but other matches itself, there are players who will probably be looking to establish themselves in the starting lineup, as well as those reserves who will be trying to make it into the starting lineup for the league season that follows as well. So a lot to play for everyone, and it's a very interesting stage as well, because a lot of the spectators, a lot of the fans are just trying to gauge how their team is in this early stage of the season. So a lot to play for, and let's just see how this game moves on. As you can see, players keeping themselves hydrated and just keeping themselves ensuring that they have the required water levels as well. So what we'll do is we'll go in for a quick commercial break, and we'll meet you on the other side with the team cards and the kickoff.
Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence. Keep sweating. Keep pushing the limits. Keep stepping up your game. Keep shining. Keep rising. No matter what your fitness goal is, we are always there by you, with you. Iodex. Get. Spray. Go.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Creamy richness redefined. Smooth, soft, spreadable. Introducing Fondre with canola and sunflower oil.
එක පැත්තකින් වාගෙනදී තව පැත්තකින් මතුවෙනවා. මේ ටයිල් එක බෑ. දෙක තුනක් කැඩිලත් එක්ක. තමරි අක්කා.
ජීවිත කාලය පුරාම අල්ලන් ඉන්න නම් ටයිල් අල්ලන්න ඕන ස්විස්ටෙක් ටයිල් ඇඩිසිව්.
ස්විස්ටෙක් ටයිල් ඇඩිසිව් අල්ලන්න හොඳම කෙනා.
Radials. The road is yours.
Now Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සදහමයි.
Maliban lemon puff puff lemon puff Maliban lemon puff හැම සිතක්ම පිපිදේ රස lemon රසයේ ජීවිතයම මිහිරයි Maliban lemon puff puff lemon puff Maliban lemon puff Maliban lemon puff chill when lemon.
As the pioneer in Sri Lanka's bottled water industry, American Water has set the standard for over 3 decades, providing you with nature's purest. For a truly premium, sustainable drinking experience. Perfect for a single serving. For over 30 years, we've brought the Earth's bounty directly to you, wherever you are, whatever your needs.
වතුරත් ලීක් වෙලා. ස්ලැබ් එකත් ඉවරයි. බලන්නකො දැන් සාලේ කැත. චමරි.
ස්විස්ටෙක් ඇක්වාෂීල්ඩ් 2K waterproof දැම්මා නම් වතුර කාන්දු වෙන්නෙත් නෑ. හිතටත් නිදහස්.
ස්විස්ටෙක් ඇක්වාෂීල්ඩ් 2K waterproofer සීල් කරන්න හොඳම කෙනා.
Now Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සදහමයි.
ලස්සන පල්ලෝකේ කොත්තු මිසර විහිදේ කික් එක සිත බැඳා මාතේ ෆයිනල් ෆැෂන් දපේ
හිටක බදේ හොටේ
හොටේ ස්පයිසි ගස් මාතේ රසේ ප්‍රීමා කොත්තුමි ෆාම් තමයි.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Now Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සදහමයි.
Seat Car Radials. The road is yours.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence. Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
So welcome back to London Place as we await the commencement of this pre-quarter-final encounter between Royal and Kingswood. Players yet going through their warm-ups. And interesting to see how the both teams approach this game in terms of tactics. It's interesting, isn't it, Abid? The team's strength from one year to another can vary. So Royal predominantly like to play the percentages, but we'll come back to that as we have a look at the press conference of the school's rugby knockout tournament. Dialog, the sponsors. And it's a big occasion, isn't it, in the rugby calendar for all these school boys, the old boys as well. It's much looked forward to event. And And this season was no different. It's kicked off with a wonderful press conference. A lot of dignitaries present as well. It's going to be interesting, isn't it, Abid, how the teams adjust from playing the knockout tournament at the start. It's a new experience for everyone as well. Just wonder whether the training routines, everything would have changed. There are generally teams who like to peak towards the latter part of the season. There are some teams that generally get off to a good start. So it would be interesting to see how teams adapt, and also how playing this tournament so early on will have consequences during the latter part of the season, as you can just see the timeline of the Dialog Schools Rugby for the year 2025. So today is the final day of the pre-quarterfinals. The quarterfinals will be next weekend from the 3rd and 4th, followed by the semi-finals in the following weekend, and we'll have the grand final on the 18th of May. Then there'll be a few weeks break before we commence the first round of the school's rugby league from the 6th of June to the 6th of July, and of course the second round will commence from the 18th to the 10th, or 18th July to the 10th of August. So it is going to be a long season, isn't it, a bit long and grueling season, so management of players is going to be critical. And of course these are the league groups, so this time it's in a different format from what it normally is. So Group A will consist of St. Peter's College, DSN Anayaka Wesley College, Science College, St. Anthony's College and Ananda College, the newcomers. St. Peter's, of course, defending champions. And then in Group B, runners-up Isipatana College, St. Thomas's, Zahira, Dharmaraja, Kingswood and another set of newcomers in Mahanama College. And in Group C, Royal, Trinity, Vidyartha, St. Joseph's College, Sri Sumangala and Thurston College. So Abid, interesting to see, isn't it, how this new format takes place. Would you have any idea on how beyond this group stage, how it's going to work out?
Well, 2 teams from each group will be selected and will go on to play in the super round. But a lot of players receiving their debut jerseys this weekend. I'm pretty sure that would continue for the rest of the season as well, with players wanting to prove themselves to their coaches and try to get a starting jersey. But of course, it's always a privilege and an honor, isn't it, Abdullah, to don your school first 15 jersey, something that all of us as youngsters looked up to from the under-12s, under-14s, and then finally to come up to the first 15s and to be wearing the first 15 jersey of your school with many thousand boys behind you, supporting you. And as the crowds gather in, not a crowd as big as yesterday, Abdullah. We had a double header yesterday here at CRNFC. St. Thomas's and Science playing each other, and of course Trinity and St. Anthony's playing each other. And we had a packed stadium, but there's 15 minutes to kick off. And if you're in and around CRNFC and Longdon Place, I'd urge you to come and watch your schools participating in the first game of the season, the pre-quarterfinals.
Yes, still the crowd trickling in here to London Place. Still the start of the season, and sure everyone is just looking forward to seeing how their respective teams line up. And this is how the results have been thus far. Wesley College in that first pre-quarter final, overcoming St. Joseph's 36 points to 23. Dharmaraja going down to DSN Anayaka. It was close for a while, but in the end DSN Anayaka proving the strong of the 2 outfits, winning 48 points to 29. And probably the closest encounter of this knockout tournament thus far. Zahira just peeping Vidyartha College, just 16 points to 12. Isipatana comfortably overcoming Sri Sumangala, 61 points to 0. And of course that high scoring affair between the 2 Mount Lavinia rivals, St. Thomas's winning 59 points to 35 over Science College. And another encounter between another 2 hometown rivals, Trinity College overcoming St. Anthony's College, 62 points to 5. So we'll go in for a final commercial break, and we'll see you on the other side in time for kickoff.
කොහෙන් හරි කමන්නේ ෆොටෝ එක තිබ්බනම් මට මේ බිත්තියේ කැත වහගන්න තිබ්බා.
චමරි අක්කා.
පිත්තියට ස්විස්ටෙක් ස්කිම් කෝඩ් ගාලා ෆිනිෂ් කළා නම් ඔය ප්‍රශ්න මුකුත් නැහැ.
ස්විස්ටෙක් ස්කිම් කෝට් ෆිනිෂ් එකට හොඳම කෙනා.
Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence.
Maliban lemon puff puff, lemon puff, Maliban lemon puff. හැමසිතක්ම පිපිදේ, රස lemon රසයේ. ජීවිතයම මිහිරයි. Maliban lemon puff puff, lemon puff, Maliban lemon puff, Maliban lemon puff. Chill when lemon.
ලස්සන පන් ලෝකේ කොත්තු මිසර විහිදේ කික් එක සිත බැඳා ෆයිනල් ෆැෂන් දපේ
හිටක බදේ හොටේ
හොටල් ස්පයිසි ගස් මාතේ රසේ ප්‍රීමා කොත්තුමි ෆාම් තමයි.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සදහමයි.
Our forests come in many forms. They can be up in the hills or down in the plains, fed by the rain or sculpted by the sun. Our forests are deeply rooted in us. They are a living inspiration.
Bring that inspiration home. Lanka Tiles. Fine living. Redefined. Seat Car Radials. The road is yours.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සදහමයි.
වතුරත් ලීක් වෙලා. ස්ලැබ් එකත් ඉවරයි. බලන්නකො දැන් සාලේ කැත. චමරි.
ස්විස්ටෙක් ඇක්වාෂීල් 2K waterproof දැම්මා නම් වතුර කාන්දු වෙන්නෙත් නැහැ. හිතටත් නිදහස්.
ස්විස්ටෙක් ඇක්වාෂීල් 2K waterproofer සීල් කරන්න හොඳම කෙනා.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සදහමයි.
So welcome back to London Place. As you can see, the Royal team have taken the field in their final huddle before the commencement of the game. As you can see, this is the Royal College outfit for today. Akira Yatawara, Naqib Mohammed, Yoshita Jayasekara will be the front row. Anupa Vijayratna and Altaf Aman are the second rows. Okita Mudankotua, Metuka Vikramaratne and Senuja Ranasinghe will form the back row. Shahid Mohideen and Idris Farooq will be the halves combination. Skipper Amika Samarasinghe will man the left wing. And in the centres, it will be Ishen Jayasinghe and Hiruka Jayadinu. Number 14 will be Dinuka Pereira, and the fullback will be Yuan Patirana. The replacements are Nazir, Hanifa, Amarasinghe, Patirana, Fernando, Razul Simak, Rajakaruna, Ekanayaka, and Bari.
We'll have a quick look at the Kingswood lineup as well. Travelling down to Colombo, and they've listed a 25-man team. Tushar Madugalla, Dulisha Rasanjana and Sanuka Nisanka will play in the front row. Pansilu Bandara and Menusha Marasinghe have been given the nod at number 4 and 5. Chanidu Adhikari, Akila Dilshan and Madhuranga Pushpakumara will be the back row for Kingswood. Their backs then, their captain Tavish Ekanayak will play at scrum half. Ashil Azmi will play at fly half. Hirun Karunatilaka and Sachinta Samantha will play at the centres. Dinet Ranavira and Sadeva Amrasuri will play on the wings. And Riveen Badudin will be the last line of defence. Hettiarachi, Tilakaratna, Premaratna, Atif, Bandara, Setmal, Jan, Karavita and Shafraz, and of course Fernando will form the bench and the replacements for Kingswood College. Interesting that there are 10 players on the bench, Abdullah. A couple of years back it was just 8 players, where teams would juggle around with a 5-3 combination or maybe even a 6-2 combination if you were the Springboks, but 10 players on the bench, 25-man team. What do you think the strategy would be from the coaches, and how many players do you think they would list as front forwards and backs?
Yes, well, I'm sure there must be a minimum amount of players they need to list as front rowers according to precautions. I think it stands at 6 if I'm not mistaken. Those are World Rugby-led rules, so that will be in place. It's also interesting to see to what extent the coaches will bring on their benches. It's not like in club or international rugby where you have players of a certain level who can come and make an impact immediately. So teams that have that strength in depth, who can bring players on from the bench and have an immediate impact, will definitely stand an advantage. And I think the reason why they have developed 10 reserves from each school for this school's season is probably the concern of injuries, isn't it? So the coaches, if they want to, they can rotate more players, they can get more players involved in the game as well. So a lot to think about for the coaching panels. As we have a look at, those are the officials for today's game, just getting mic'd up.
Referee Gihan Yatavara will take charge of the game today. He was on the touchline for yesterday's game under lights here at Longdon Place. Royal College was a bit too early to come out. They had to wait until Kingswood College has come out, but now Kingswood College run into Longdon Place to play their season opener. And I'm pretty sure those old boys that are standing and clapping would have done a lot of backroom work, haven't they? A lot of sponsorships coming in from old boys for these teams. They have lots of sponsorship felicitations as well. That plays a huge role, isn't it? These teams, some of these teams have huge budgets coming into this tournament, and that's very important when it comes to things like nutrition, things like physiotherapy. All of these are important aspects, and given that it's a very long season, those come really handy for these youngsters who are just stepping into professional rugby or school rugby.
Absolutely, Abid. It takes a lot to run a school's under 19 program these days, and not just that, they've got to keep in mind the junior levels as well. So it does take a lot of effort and a lot of dedication from old boys. And of course, with that comes a lot of pressure on the players as well as the coaching staff to get the desired results. So it will be Kingswood to kick off. It will be fullback Raveen who will look to start proceedings. It looks like there's slight hold up in the kickoff. Not quite sure what the reason is, but the players had formed but have been called in by their respective benches.
But the referees haven't taken the field yet as well. As you can see, the referees are yet to make their way onto the field, and I think there's something on this right-hand side of your screen, which is right off your screen, that I think may be of concern to the referees. The Royal bench has taken a seat as well, Abdullah. It's something that I've noticed as well in these games, that they do sing their school songs and school anthems, is that you tend to lose a lot of warm-up. These teams come out very early for their warm-ups. Something that I noticed yesterday as well in the double header is that the teams come out very early for the warm-up, so the strength and conditioning coaches of either of these teams won't be too happy with that.
Yes, and considering the humid conditions that are prevalent at London Place today, you don't want to be standing in the sun for too much either. So you can quite understand players just taking the comfort of the shade until the referee decides to start the game. It's going to be really interesting, isn't it? First game of a season. Everyone just wants to know who are the new players who have made the team, how they will perform, how the combinations look.
And we have been made to wait a little longer to know what they are like. The winner of this game will play DS Senanayake College in that quarter-final. We've had a few games so far, Abdullah. Which team do you think has impressed you the most so far? I know it's very early doors to talk about this, but there should be a team that maybe one or two teams that maybe caught your eye with their attacking pattern or maybe even their defensive pattern. Which team do you think has shown a lot of promise in this first round so far?
Yeah, well, it's a bit hard to gauge, isn't it? It's also depends to the extent to which your opponent allows you to play as well, isn't it? So just watching Trinity yesterday, they looked pretty impressive, very clinical in how they went about their work both in attack and defense. And of course, Isipatana, 3 quarters once again, looked majestic whenever they ran the ball. St. Thomas's do have some good game breakers as well. So, and even DS Senanayake for that matter. They've got some big forwards who can cause problems to the opposition. But that conversation is for another time, as Robin Badwin collects, kicks off, and of course Idris Farouk collects and finds a really good touch finder on the halfway mark. So Kingswood trying to take a quick line out, but referee says that cannot do that. The ball probably made contact with someone who is not in the field of play. So the first line out of the game. Dulisha with the throw-in, comfortably won by Kingswood. The players into contact. Nice base kick by Ekanayake, finding some space. And that's a really good touch finder by Ekanayake. And he's won a line out for his team as well. 50-22. Brilliantly weighted kick by the scrum half. Just the start Kingswood would have wanted.
Fantastic, isn't it? Playing territorial very early. Royal as well, right off that kickoff. Didn't want to do anything in their own half, kicking it right downfield, but that box kick from the scrum half, Ekanayake, the captain, has won them a very good attacking line out. And they've made a mess out of it, but they get the ball back.
Ekanayake looking for his options, getting the ball out to Rasanjana, who carries it forward. Another good carry by the Kingswood forwards. But looks like the ball has been turned over. Kingswood a bit guilty of getting to that breakdown in time. And some really good work by the Royal forwards to steal that ball.
The clinical work from the Royal back rower from the base. Idris Farooq will look for touch, and he gets good touch as well. Royal, of course, this season don't have the services of their two giants that have been stalwarts for them in the line-out. Johan Veerasuri and Bhuvaneka Senanayake are not in the team this year. They have left school, so they've had to find new line-out jumpers. You see who they hit. Naqib Mohammed hits Anupa Wijeratna. Busting run from the Royal forwards now, and it's stolen from Kingswood, is it? Yes, it is. Ekanayaka comes away with it. Now trying to set it up. Kingswood hit another pot of forwards. Ekanayaka looks around and hits his prop forward, Tushan Madugalla. Now he digs for it. Back in the pocket is his fullback, Rivin Baduin. And he's knocked it down the park, and Idris Farooq has called the mark. Wants to slow things down and wants his forwards to get back.
It's a pretty aimless kick, you'd have to say, by Baduin. Not much thought, you'd have to say, in that kick. And once again, Farooq sending play back almost to the halfway mark. So far, Kingswood have had a bit of possession, but it's been slow ball, isn't it, Abid? It's just they need to try and create some quick phases. Try and get their three quarters into play a bit more. And the good clean line out. But free kick is the call. Oh, it's a scrum rather. Not 5 seems to be the signal.
Well, both teams yet to settle down. 4 minutes into this game, yet to settle down and get some good quality phase ball. Royal have a scrum on the 50-meter line. Scrum of Shahid Mohideen to feed it in. First scrum of the game then.
Good pressure by Kingswood. Royal managing to hold on to territory. Idris wraps around, but well read by the Kingswood defense. Mohideen gets the ball out to forwards for a carry. It's Rana Singha. Once again being carried forward. Mohideen gets it back to Idris, who has to keep it in play because he was lined up outside. He got the ball passed into him, which is comfortably collected by Kingswood. And once again, the fullback kicks across field, and looks like Kingswood had players in front of the kicker. Idris taking the quick tap. Passes it on to his skipper, who takes it in to contact. Good face ball. Again, it's given to Situmina, who takes it up. And that's a good break by Rana Singha. Breaks the first tackle. Breaks the second as well. Kingswood defense has caught up with him, but they have Royal gets quick ball, but Idris has been held in possession. And they managed to get that first penalty for not releasing, is the call. So interesting decision here. Do Royal go for the points? Or do they just test their driving maul early on in the game? And looks like it's the latter. So that was a good break by Rana Singha. The Kingswood defense found wanting, slipping a couple of tackles, and now they find themselves under a bit of pressure. Mohammed with the throw-in. Goes deep, but finds his mark. The ball is set and Royal on the move. They've got a bit of momentum. Kingswood backpedaling. And Mohammed breaks from the back of the maul. Ball is spread out wide. Idris loses position and position has been turned over. So Kingswood have done well. And it's a kick ahead that's been blocked, but it falls right into the Kingswood team's hands and looks like there's going to be a breakaway. It's Amarasinghe, and Amarasinghe goes over from the opponent's 25. What a brilliant try by the Kingswood lads. Turning possession over, going through the hands. And Amarasinghe using his pace to good effect, or rather Amarasuriya, pardon me, putting the finishing touches to that move. And that can be a real heartbreaker for all, you'd have to say. They had Kingswood on the back foot. Fortunately, spreading the ball out wide a bit too early. As you have a look at that try once again. The spread out wide. The chip kick. Not sure it was blocked. It just went from the side of the boot. And Royal defense just found wanting out wide. And Amarasuriya gets the first score of this game. And I'm sure that would please the Kingswood fans no end. Team was under a bit of pressure, and going end to end like that and getting your first score can be extremely deflating for the opposition, but at the same time a real moral booster for the Kingswood lads.
Okay, I think he's taken too much of time to take the kick, so he's been called back. So Royal will have the kickoff, but I think the Kingswood defense has been very good so far in these early stages, Abdullah. They've really been flying up on the Royal fly half, especially Idris Farooq has been put under a lot of pressure. It was he who tapped that ball back, but unfortunately for him, it went into the hands of a willing Kingswood runner. And Farooq now kicks it off. Kingswood have the early score. And now Amarasinghe absolutely smashes into the Kingswood player who collected that ball. Good way to make a statement, the Royal skipper. And now exiting from their 22 is Kingswood. He collects it, and Farooq now puts a little step, goes past a few players. He's brought down. Mohideen has it. Mohammed. Now just draw and pass Royal. It's there for Hiran, who is brought down by the Kingswood win three-quarter. The ball squirts out for Mohideen. Now running in the angle was Okita Mudun Kotua, but he's dropped that ball. Now once again, from a similar position, knocked it down the park, and Idris Farooq has made a bit of a hash of it. Thankfully for him, his captain knew the rule and didn't go for that ball, or it would have been a penalty. But pressure being felt early on from Royal, and a lot of kicking that has happened in these early stages, Abdullah.
Yes, Royal look a little bit rusty in attack. Passes just not finding their mark. And Kingswood rushing up and applying a lot of pressure on the Royal attack as well. Well, just not being able to cope with that thus far. It's another good attacking opportunity for Kingswood. Tavisha Ekanaika ready to feed the ball in. Ekanaika gets it out to his three-quarters, and again it's knocked on, this time by Ravin. So you can see a little bit of tentativeness by both teams, especially in attack. Understandable, given that it's the start of the season, but you need to keep in mind this is knockout rugby as well, so both teams will need to try and hit their straps as quickly as possible. Mohideen with the feed. Gets the ball out to Farooq. Kicks it, finds good touch into the 25, but cleanly collected by Kingswood. And we could see a counter-attack in the offing. This is really good by Kingswood. Poor chase by Royal, but Kingswood, they have numbers out wide if they can find the hands. A lovely inside pass. Royal defense really being stretched here. Ball squirted out of that maul, but one of the Royalists tried to pick it up. He was no position to do that. And as a result, Kingswood get a penalty. They decide to take a quick tap. And looks like they have scored their second try. Royal defense just caught napping. And Kingswood were quick to pounce on that. This is a brilliant start by Kingswood.
Well, counter-attack at its best from Kingswood. If we could get the replay, we could know who the player was, but he just absolutely broke the defense. And then Royal just caught napping on many occasions. That offload was very good knowledge to keep the ball back in the field of play. And that was a bit of a brain fade from Amika Samarasinghe. He thought the ball had squirted out, but even if the ball had squirted out, he was in an offside position to get that. And Kingswood, 2 scores up early on, Abdullah. They have opened a lot of eyes that are tuned in to the Papare.
Yeah, absolutely, and full credit to them as well. They have taken the opportunities when it has presented itself. Royal found wanting on a couple of occasions. That kick by Idris Farooq, the chase, you'd have to say, was pretty poor, non-existent. So 2 Amana bank tries for Kingswood thus far. Sees them leading 10 points to 0. That's another good hit by Amika. And he's managed to extract a penalty for his team. Because from the ensuing knock-on, one of the Kingswood players was in an offside position when he collected that ball.
Well, the plan off of the kickoff for Royal is very simple, isn't it? It's just kick it deep and get Samarasinghe to chase. It's worked once now. The kickoff just before this was pretty similar. You can see Samarasinghe there with his hands on the ball and then copybook stuff. And then just unfortunate for Kingswood to find a player in front collecting that ball, but Royal have another line out. The rolling maul didn't work the last time around. It's the first time of the season that we're able to see what Royal's traditional maul is like as they set it up again.
They have set it up so far. Kingswood resistance hanging on, but Royal have managed to get a bit of momentum. Kingswood on the back foot, and Mohammed has duly gone over. So Royal striking back immediately, showing that aspect of the game still stands strong. Kingswood, the previous time there was a driving maul, did really well to halt it, but this time from that kind of distance, it was always going to be very difficult for Kingswood to stop it once Royal got a bit of front foot momentum. And Royal strike back immediately. So in 15 minutes, Abid, we've had 3 Amana bank tries. As we have a look at that driving maul once again. Brilliant work by the Royal 8.
Huge confidence booster for them to do the Royal forwards a world of confidence as the vice captain Idris Farooq knocks it over. So Royal are within touching distance now. And are we in for another high scoring affair? Because if it goes like this, I'm pretty sure we'd have maybe another St. Thomas's Science, Abdullah. 17 points scored so far already. But the initial hit from Royal off that maul was pinpoint accurate. It's always that initial hit off the maul that gets you the headway. That's something that Royal does very, very well. And on that occasion too, Royal putting their opposition on the back foot as soon as they engaged off of that line out. So now Kingswood kick things off. through their fullback Rivin Baduin. Royal collected inside the 22 and muscle their way out of it. Mohammed drops it short for a willing runner. Mohideen goes digging for it and finds Idris Farooq in the pocket, who will spiral kick his way out of it, and he's kicked it out on the full. He was inside the 22, but the ball came from outside the 22, so we'll have to go right back. A mistake from the Royal vice captain Idris Farooq takes them back another 20 odd meters. Another opportunity for Kingswood, and if they can get this line out to stick, and the way Royals defense has been working so far, could just break any time. This time Kingswood set the ball up, and it's very well set as well. They've got the headway and they keep marching on, and they've dropped it. They've knocked it on. Unfortunate for Kingswood, lucky for Royal, but that was a very good setup, very well set up Maul Abdullah.
Yes, really unfortunate for Kingswood. Definitely had the Royal 8 backtrotting. Just that unforced error, knocking the ball at the crucial moment, has given Royal a reprieve. Mohideen with the feed. It's the ball out to Farooq, who will this time look to find touch. Kicks it deep, and was that a knock on? But looks like it's been knocked backwards, so play on. But this time it's a good chase by Royal. They've got to put the player to the ground, which they have. So play is on the halfway mark. Kingswood regrouping. Referee has his hands out for an offside. So advantage for Kingswood. Ekanaika with the box kick. Finds a lot of height. It's well collected by Rana Singha, but looks like it was offside.
Well, a bit eager on that occasion. Okida Mudun Kotua wanted to fly up in defense. But Kingswood have well and truly come here to play, haven't they? They've, with ball in hand there, if they're a bit more clinical, they could probably have a bit more points to show, but they've really come to play, and they're very gutsy in everything that they do.
So have a look at that replay once again. Come back to that as Kingswood form another maul. This time Royal advancing in that line out, and looks like some Kingswood players who are beyond the 10-meter maul, or rather 10 meters away from the line out, had advanced before the line out had moved from its initial mark, which you're not allowed to do. So this time Idris Farooq finds good touch right on the halfway mark.
Unforced error from Kingswood off their own line out. Something that we don't have is a referee's mic, Abdullah, so you have to do a bit of lip reading to know what exactly is happening.
Yes, lip reading and a bit of finger reading as well indicated that it was a 1-minute water break. It's given to both teams considering the humid conditions that are prevailing.
Something that the humidity does is also makes the ball very slippery, because there's a lot of sweat that gathers around the ball, and each time the back line gets the ball, it's a very wet ball that they have to play with. Yes, it's very sunny out here, but it's also very humid. This 1-minute water break is absolutely essential. But we're very fortunate to have the pictures from ThePapare.com and from Dialog as well, bringing us live action from all the pre-quarterfinal games. And concurrently we have the Tri-Nations, the Sri Lanka women's cricket team is taking part in. It's a fabulous work from the Papare technical and production crews from all around the island that are working tirelessly to bring you these pictures.
Absolutely. Resources are definitely being stretched, but the job the backroom staff have done definitely has to be admired as we start proceedings once again. Royal winning the line out, getting the ball out, Ranasinghe carrying it forward. Good pressure by Kingswood at the breakdown. Farooq getting the ball out. Some good hands here by Royal. Fortunately, losing it in contact is Pereira. Was in two minds whether to make that pass or not. And that momentary indecision resulted in him knocking the ball on, which was a bit unfortunate because Royal had that Kingswood defense stretched. So a basic error resulting in possession being turned over in favor of Kingswood. Ekanaika with the feed. It's the ball out. This time Kingswood deciding to go deep, but comfortably collected. And Royal trying to launch a counter attack. Samarasinghe, the skipper, breaking a couple of tackles, finding support. Quick ball is what is required. Royal have numbers out wide. They've got to spread it. It's Hiran who breaks that first tackle, takes it into contact. Another phase formed. Mohammed carrying the ball forward. Again, a loose ball, but referee was playing advantage for offside.
Very scrappy play, isn't it, Abdullah, in these early stages? Yes, of course it is the start of the season, but it's also important to have your basic strike, catch and pass is very essential there. Again, the pass from Mohideen to Anupa Vijayaratne or to that pod of forwards, it was not sure where he was trying to get it to, but someone had to be a willing runner and run to that ball and not wait for the ball to come to them. But luckily Royal have the penalty, and I'm pretty sure they'd go for another rolling maul.
Yes, so there are two penalties. Royal taking the penalty closer towards the touchline. Now that Farooq will just try and put it to the corner. And let his forwards take it on from there. So it's right on the 5-meter mark. Once again, Kingswood 8 going to be tested in terms of their defensive maul. Mohideen finds his mark. And Royal have managed to hold on to possession. Royal will now try to attack along the fringes, breaking a couple of tackles. Ranasinghe inching their way closer to the try line. Well, deciding to go wide, not sure that was the best option, but nonetheless they managed to hold on to possession. Jayanindu, they have lost possession, so referee this time seems to have had enough.
Yeah, it was a long time coming, Abdullah. The Kingswood defense was very eager, and they were shooting up very fast, and it was a matter of time that referee Atavara went to his pocket. There again, just shooting up way too fast. Well, the intent is all right, but there's a way to do it, and you have to do it within the laws of the game. And off your screen, Royal College have gone over, have they? Oh no, they have not gone over. They've taken the tap quickly. And this is where I really pray to the heavens above that we do get the referee's mic so that we know exactly what's happening, but Kings would have the penalty nonetheless.
Yes, it seems that one of the Royal players had rolled twice over, which are not allowed to do And as a result, they've given Kingswood the opportunity to clear their lines. So a crucial few minutes for Kingswood. They'll need to manage the next 7 minutes or so. As we have a look at that once again, Royal, as you can see, hitting the deck, and then there was a definite double roll there. So a good line out by Kingswood, but looks like it was a crooked throw. So what was interesting there was Royal did compete for the line out arbit. So once that happens, the line out has to be straight. The line out throw rather has to be straight, which wasn't the case on this occasion.
Well, if it's uncontested, it doesn't matter how crooked it is, you can play on. Those are the new rules, but something that happened yesterday in the match that I watched, Trinity St. Anthony's, was that even if it was crooked, it was called, even if it was uncontested and crooked, it was called as crooked. But referee Yatover on spot here as Mohideen feeds it into a scrum, an 8-man scrum, 7-man scrum rather. Farooq across the defense, and the replacement, number 22, Anik Razul, goes right through, and he's dropped it, and now running away with it across the, against the run of plays. The Kingswood fullback steps past Amika Samarasinghe, and he'll go over to score right under the post. The 2 tries that Kingswood have scored so far, one of the 2 tries have been absolutely against the run of play, and they've pounced on any mistake that Royal has made, and they've made them pay. And what's important is they're only playing with 14 men, Abdullah.
Massive for Kingswood. This opportunity, 3 quarters, just unable to find their mark. And it was Badouin who pounced on that loose ball and went end to end. And what Kingswood have done really well in this game is they have pounced on whatever errors Royal has done. And the fullback converts the try, which he has scored himself, which has extended the Kingswood lead to 17 points to 7. And once again, Royal just not showing enough accuracy in terms of their attack. And boy, haven't Kingswood made them pay.
Well, Kingswood have been on spot against the run of play, and of course in open play as well. I think it was Badudwin on that occasion who went through, but also the try before that was scored. He was the one who made around 60 to 70 meters to get his team into the opposition 22. But something about Royal in attack of that man that comes out of the back door, Abdullah, he doesn't really expect the ball, but the ball comes to him. That has really made Royal pay not once but twice. This time Samarasinghe again goes and crashes into the Kingswood collector. And this time Kingswood drop it. Royal will have a scrum.
Yes, well, it's definitely been an error-ridden game thus far. Both teams just unable to find their accuracy. Kingswood have been very good in terms of pouncing on those mistakes that Royal have committed. It's imperative that Royal make use of this extra man advantage they have. Mohideen with the feed. Gets it out to Hiran. Takes it into contact. Farooq. It's well read in defense by Kingswood. Farooq gets in and tries to clear up. But looks like there was a knock on. So Royal's attack bit flat on that occasion. Some good defensive reads by Kingswood as well.
Well, they have understood who the ball is going to. And it's very predictable from Royal right now. But they're of course a class outfit, isn't it, Abdullah? They know when they have to put the foot on the accelerator. Many of these players have played a few seasons in the top division, so they're well experienced, but so far Kingswood have dominated the first 30 minutes of this game.
So another feed by Kanaika. It's the ball out. It's kicked deep. Collected by Pirahu, and lovely step. Taking the ball up. All just now trying to get quick ball out. Spread it out wide. Kingswood defense have moved on. Recycle possession. All taking the ball up. Some good counter-attacking by Kingswood. Unfortunately knocked on, but you'd have to say a positive effect by positive effort rather by Kingswood. Just trying to counteract, disrupt Royals' flow. Unfortunately for them, resulting in a knock-on. But all this just runs that clock down. Need to keep in mind, Kingswood down to 14 players. So they wouldn't mind the stop-start nature thus far.
Royal have been on this part of the field for the majority of the game so far, Abdullah. But they have only the 7 points to show for it. And with around 4 to 5 minutes to half-time, I'm pretty sure with the extra man as well, they'd want at least another 3 or at least another 5 points going into half-time.
So Muhyiddin with the feed. Getting the ball out to Janindu. Nice inside pass. Slow ball. This time Mohammad rather taking the ball up. Getting the ball out wide. Dummying is Janindu. Recycle ball, Farooq. Getting the ball out to Samarasinghe. Keeps the ball in play to try and avoid going into touch, but unfortunately for Royal, he has made contact with the touchline.
Well, something that Royal has done very well is they've been very good in the close fringes, and as soon as the ball goes to the line, they've been a bit indecisive of what they have to do. And very careless with how they use possession of the ball. It would be better if they maybe set one up and try to go again, but that's not as that has not happened. And another penalty comes Kingswood way, and this time the Royal backline advances a bit too fast.
Yes, that was just absolutely silly by the Royal defense. There was no need to do that. In that kind of situation, you just let the opposition win the ball, isn't it? And let them kick the ball into touch. As a result of conceding that penalty, Kingswood will have the line out as well. We just approach the final 90 seconds of this first half.
Well, how would you analyze this first half so far, Abdullah? It's not been a very technically sound effort from Kingswood either. It's just been a few tries that have been against the run of play.
Yes, but you've got to give it to Kingswood as well, isn't it? They have just taken the opportunities when it has come their way. They have thrived on Royal's inaccuracy in attack. And that's all you could ask for from them. Royal definitely have not helped their cause. Prasanjana with the throw. Win the line out. Looks like there was hands in the ruck there. So another bit of ill discipline by Royal. Costing them, and looks like that will be half-time. So you'd have to say Kingswood will be pretty pleased the way those final 10 minutes went. They lost the player to the bin, but eventually had a net gain of 7 points in those 10 minutes leading up to half-time. And will definitely be the more happy of the two teams going into half-time. So at the breather, it's 17 points to 7 in favor of Kingswood.
Well, the Kingswoodians would be very happy to run back to Coach Anand Kasturiarachi, and I'm pretty sure they'd be greeted with a smile, but also with a lot of tips, because if they do try and if they do manage to thump this Royal outfit out of the pre-quarterfinals, something that I'm pretty sure not a lot of people would have expected. But it's 17-7 at halftime. Kingswood lead Royal College. It's a 10-point buffer. And I wouldn't want to be the one going into that Royal camp right now. What we'll do now is we'll go into a quick commercial break, and on the other side, we'll see you with first half highlights and second half action. Stay tuned to the Papare.
Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence.
Keep sweating. Keep pushing the limits. Keep stepping up your game. Keep shining. Keep rising. No matter what your fitness goal is, we are always there by you, with you. Iodex. Get. Spray. Go.
Creamy richness redefined. Smooth, soft, spreadable. Introducing Fondre with canola and sunflower oil. Fiat Car Radials. The road is yours.
Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence.
Creamy richness redefined. Smooth, soft, spreadable. Introducing Fondre with canola and sunflower oil.
වතුරත් ලීක් වෙලා ස්ලැබ් එකත් ඉවරයි. බලන්නකො දැන් සාලේ කැත. චමරි.
ස්විස්ටෙක් ඇක්වාෂීල් 2K waterproof දැම්මනම් වතුර කාන්දු වෙන්නෙත් නෑ. හිතටත් නිදහස්.
ස්විස්ටෙක් ඇක්වාෂීල් 2K waterproofer සීල් කරන්න හොඳම කෙනා.
Now Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සදහමයි.
Creamy richness redefined. Smooth, soft, spreadable. Introducing Fondre with canola and sunflower oil.
Now Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සදහමයි.
ලස්සන පල්ලෝකේ කොත්තුමි සරවිහිතේ හික්කක සිත බැන්දා මාතේ ෆයිනල් ෆැෂන් අපේ
හික්කක බදේ වටේ
හොටල් ස්පයිසි ගස් මාතේ රසේ ප්‍රීමා කොත්තුමි ෆාම් තමයි.
Fiat Car Radials. The road is yours.
Now Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සදහමයි.
Creamy richness redefined. Smooth, soft, spreadable. Introducing Fondre with canola and sunflower oil.
Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence.
එක පැත්තකින් වාගෙනදී තව පැත්තකින් මතුවෙනවා. මේ ටයිල් එක බෑ. දෙක තුනක් කැඩිලත් එක්ක. චමරි අක්කා.
ජීවිත කාලය පුරාම අල්ලන් ඉන්න නම් ටයිල් අල්ලන්න ඕන ස්විස්ටෙක් ටයිල් ඇඩිසිව්.
ස්විස්ටෙක් ටයිල් ඇඩිසිව් අල්ලන්න හොඳම කෙනා.
Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence.
කොහෙන් හරි කමන්නේ ෆොටෝ එක තිබ්බනම් මට මේ බිත්තිය කැත වහගන්න තිබ්බා.
චමරි අක්කා.
පිත්තියට ස්විස්ටෙක් ස්කිම් කෝඩ් ගාලා ෆිනිෂ් කළා නම් ඔය ප්‍රශ්න මුකුත් නෑ.
ස්විස්ටෙක් ස්කිම් කෝට් ෆිනිෂ් එකට හොඳම කෙනා.
Now Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සදහමයි.
There is a rhythm to island life, where a walk is a dance, where there is work-life flexibility, where fun is serious, and where songs rise out of the sea. The unique and amazing facets of island living inspire us.
Bring that inspiration home. Lanka Tiles. Fine living. Redefined.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
ලස්සන පල්ලෝකේ කොත්තුමි සර විහිදේ හික්කක සිත බැන්දා ෆයිවල් ෆැෂන් අපේ
හිටක බදේ වටේ
හොටල් ස්පයිසි ගස් මාතේ රසේ ප්‍රීමා කොත්තුමි ෆාම් තමයි.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Seat car radials. The road is yours.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
කොහෙන් හරි කමන්නේ ෆොටෝ එක තිබ්බනම් මට මේ බිත්තියේ කැත වහගන්න තිබ්බා.
චමරි අක්කා.
පිත්තියට ස්විස්ටෙක් ස්කිම් කෝඩ් ගාලා ෆිනිෂ් කළා නම් ඔය ප්‍රශ්න මුකුත් නැහැ.
ස්විස්ටෙක් ස්කින් කෝට් ෆිනිෂ් එකට හොඳම කෙනා.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
So welcome back to the second half of this pre-quarter final encounter between Royal College and Kingswood, and we have a scoreline that not many would have expected going into halftime. The lads from Kandy leading 17 points to 7. They definitely put in some good, huge effort in that first half, as we'll have a quick look at the highlights. It was Kingswood who drew first blood. It was a breakaway try from Royal's own 25. And it was Sadev Amarasuriya who went over for that first try. And then Kingswood once again capitalizing on a Royal error. Royal did manage to score once again through Mohammed. Idris Farooq made no mistake with the conversion. So at that stage, Royal were leading 7 points to 5. And then Royal once again went on the front foot. Just a loose pass Going into their fullback Rivin's hand, who went end to end and scored. A good try for his team. So play has recommenced once again.
What would the message have been from the coaches, Abdullah? You have Royal, who is 10 points down. Pretty sure they would have heard some stern words from coach Dushant Leuke.
Yes, well, I think it's just accuracy, isn't it, Abid? That's where Royal were found wanting. 2 of those tries were absolutely against the run of play. Kingswood, on their part, will be pretty happy with the effort they put in, but they too will need to tighten up in certain aspects of their game. No doubt that coach Ananda Kasturiarachi would have pointed out those areas that needed improvement.
Kingswood back to their full complement of players. Getting a bit of attention there was the win 3/4 Sadhu Wamasuriya, the try scorer.
Yes, and Kingswood will be absolutely thrilled with how those last 10 minutes went. Royal had managed to get a score when Kingswood were rather without their full complement of players, and going into half-time, the mood in the camp would have been very different. But it looks like Amarasuriya just being looked at, going through probably the HIA protocols to ensure there was no concussion involved. So a quick update from Royal College Sports Complex. Defending league champions St. Peter's comfortably ahead 34 points to 3 against Thurston. So looks like Royal have made a replacement. They have got their experience, Disas Patirana, into that number 8 position. See his left knee heavily strapped, so circumstances probably resulted in him being introduced to the game much earlier than what coach Dushant Luke would have wanted, as Ekanaika feeds the ball to his fly half, Farooq. Lets it bounce. It falls into one of the Royalists' hands. Patirana picks it up, doesn't make much ground. Recycle possession. Mohammed trying to carry, but some really good defense by Kingswood. Going to the short size, Patirana flings the ball back in, which is cleaned up by Ranasinghe. Royal trying to get their big men into the game. Situmina taking the ball up. Mohideen feeding his team his backs again. Farooq going out wide. That's a lovely, wonderful cross kick. And some desperate defense by Kingswood. Bundling Pereira into touch. But a nice touch by the Royal fly half. Identifying a bit of space on that left flank. Pinpoint accuracy in terms of the kick. Very well collected by Pereira. Trying to jink his way, but some desperate defense by Kingswood. Bundling the Royal wing into touch.
Very innovative from Royal in the early stages of the second half. They'll need a lot of that if they are to break through this Kingswood defense, who has really come to play. Now Kingswood hit their number 8. That's Pushpa Kumara. Now back in the pocket is the fly half, but just hacks it right up in the air. Farooq is under it. Tries to get the pass out to Samarasinghe, but there's an arm that stops the ball. Now they've stolen it as Kingswood. When he looked at the ref, he was stopped. And it's a high tackle, so Royal have another penalty. And I'm pretty sure they'd go to touch and try to get their trusty maul to try and get them another 5-pointer.
I think there was a lazy hand in defense by one of the Kingswood players as well. Which could have been a bit of trouble, but referees seem to have let that go. But nonetheless, an indiscretion by Kingswood. So it's another drive, 5-meter maul, or rather 5-meter line out for Royal.
It's definitely a maul, isn't it? That's why you say 5-meter maul, but here we go. Mohammed. No contest. And it's called a crooked throw. I'm not going to comment too much on that, but it's called a crooked throw by referee Atawara.
Yes, it looks like Kingswood may have tried to contest it. Seems to be the indication by referee Atawara at the front of the line out. So technically, it was a contested line out, I guess. So another error by Royal. Kingswood with the feed. Ekanaika getting the ball out to his fly half, Ashik, who sends it into play, or sends it into touch. It's about 15 meters, 17 meters away from the Royal goal line.
Another line out for Royal. This time a bit further back. Naqib Mohammed prepares to throw into a 4-man line out. This time he hits his jumper cleanly. Farooq hits Patirana, who is stopped in his tracks by the Kingswood flanker. Now trying to spark something is the Royal centre. They drop it short again for Disas Patirana, who stays on his feet, and a very strong run from Disas Patirana. Still on his feet, Patirana. It takes 3 to 4 Kingswood defenders to bring him down. Now there's space for Royal if they wish to use it. They should have maybe kept the ball in hand. And this left-hand side touchline, they have the penalty, Abdullah, but this left-hand side corner has been an absolute menace for Royal, and they've not been able to keep possession.
Yes, well, bit of indecision and very tentative as well by the Royal backs. Does not seem to having good understanding on what they need to do. Seem to lack that sharpness thus far. An interesting Royal from that ensuing penalty, however, decided to go for a scrum. Patirana has definitely made an impact in this game since he has made his way into this Royal 15 in the second half.
Well, Royal will need a few more busting runs from their ball carriers, just like the one from Patirana. But something I want to put on note, Abdullah, is the amount of stoppages that we had in the game yesterday under lights. Supposed to finish in 70 minutes, but it took quite a while to finish the game. And right at the start of the season, a lot of injury worries for teams as well. As you can see, the Kingswood win 3/4 limping off, or the Kingswood fly half limping off. That's Ashik Azmi. But Royal have a scrum on their 5-meter. Patirana breaks out of the back of it, but he's stopped in his tracks by Marasinghe. Royal now go through their forwards. Kingswood trying to disrupt it, and they'll play on. Royal still have it, but it's scrappy ball. Now Mohideen takes it out. Samarasinghe running the short line, breaks past the first tackler. And another penalty comes Royal's way. Kingswood will have to be a bit careful here now. Mohideen takes it quickly. Patirana. They're using Patirana a lot in the early stages of the second half. Now to their number 8, Rana Singh. Met in a very good tackle. And another penalty comes Royals' way. And now maybe referee Atavara should have a word with the Kingswood captain and say that his team has considered way too many penalties on this end. But they've used Pathiran a lot here, Abdullah. And looks like they're going to use him again. Now he takes it quickly. Stops for a minute and goes ahead. And they go over Royal. Royal have the first Amana Bank try of the second half. It was a long time coming. They were in this part of the field for 7 to 8 minutes and finally they have a score.
Yes, and it looks like it's prop forward Yatawara who went over. So Royal creating a bit of problems for Kingswood in defense. This could really be a test of endurance, as we can see Pathirana taking that ball into contact. You can see the Kingswood defense sucked in. And then Yatawara with a little bit of help from Mohammed. Both the front rows combining well to go over for Royal Sakanamana Bank try and Idris Farooq. There's no problem with the conversion, so it's 17 points to 14. As it's just 4 minutes into this second half, and Royal have struck back, which they needed to. Just see a few of the Kingswood players on the ground, isn't it, Abid? Just wondering whether the humidity is going to take its toll on them. They've been really gallant in defense thus far. Really put Royal under a lot of pressure.
But now Royal have got themselves within touching distance. 3 points separate the two teams. Royal are lucky to have the first score of the first half. Now Kingswood kick it off. Samarasinghe comes running through and takes that ball. I thought he was caught a bit high for my liking, but they go through Pathirana. Swing it out for their win 3/4. There's no advantage, so we'll go back for a penalty, is it? It is a penalty for Royal. What do you think the strategy has to be here on from Royal? They're 3 points behind Abdullah. Almost the entirety of the second half to play. What do you think they should opt for from here on?
So just think that Royal had them making the wrong calls in terms of when they need to use their line. Decided to go towards their threes when it's static ball. Good touch finder by Farooq. So just got to be a bit more patient. Try and suck that Kingswood defense in a bit more before they decide to go out wide. What they cannot afford to do is give a turnover ball to Kingswood, because they have been brilliant in capitalizing on those opportunities. So accuracy is of paramount importance for Royal in attack. Mohammed going to the back of that line out. It's a back peel. Disas again carrying the ball. Mohideen. Ball has been lost and it's been hacked downfield. Idris Farooq clears things up for his team. Play back onto the halfway mark. Royal carrying forward. Again, it's a loose ball. Idris Farooq losing the ball in contact. Not for the first time have Royal been inaccurate in terms of their attack. Referee has his hands out for an advantage. So it's a free run for Kingswood if they want to make use of it. So Rivin takes the ball into contact, just throws it in. But there's no advantage, so they will come back for a penalty.
Very scrappy from both teams, isn't it? It's very early stages in the season, but it's very scrappy play. Now Kingswood have the penalty, but Kingswood as well finding their line very flat. This is the phase that I'm talking about. Just look at their forward, the pod of forwards, all three or all five of them absolutely flat. So no option for the man with the ball who is feeding the pod to give it to anyone. But they're lucky for them that they have the penalty and they'll kick it out into touch. Now Kings would need to score next if they are to be in this context and not allow Royal to come back into this game.
Yes, Kings would just need to regroup a bit here. Probably control position for a few phases. It's been helter-skelter by both teams really in this game thus far. No visible control in attack by both teams. Royal have tried to run the ball at every given opportunity. Probably feel they have the backs to do so, but the correct platform hasn't been set for them.
Something that we were talking about yesterday, or Shanak and Sudarshan were talking on air yesterday, Abdullah, was the fact that we need a few ball boys around the pitch. Because as soon as the ball goes out of the terraces here at CRNFC, the ball doesn't come back. And it takes quite a while to get the ball back, but Kings would lose it off of the line out, but they somehow come away with it. And another knock-on.
Yes, knock-on by Royal's open side flanker, Vijay Ratna. Yes, something probably the organizers will do well to look at from the quarter-final stage onwards. So good attacking opportunity for Kingswood. Just around the 40-meter mark. It's Setmal who feeds the scrum. Good recycle ball. Can Kingswood create something for themselves here? Royal defense standing strong thus far. Quick recycle ball. It's Hirzin who carries forward. It's again a slow, static ball for Kingswood. But going off the feet. Is the call. Not quite sure why referee Atawara called them back for that penalty when the quick tap was taken. So Idris Farooq kicks the ball downfield.
Has a very good boot on him, Idris Farooq. Something that Royal could rely on heavily. Very lucky pack of forwards to have a fly-off that can put them into the right parts of the field.
So Mohammed with the throw. Goes to the back of the line out. Not quite straight, but there was no contest this time, so play goes on. Patirana finds himself out wide. Just flings the ball back. Royal have lost about 10 meters or so from that. So they'll have to make that ground once again. Get up to the halfway mark. Patirana takes a couple of players and passes it back in. And this time it's Yuan Patirana who kicks it downfield, finds a bit of space. And that's brilliant chase by the Royal wing three-quarter, I think it was. Samarasinghe, the skipper.
That was a very well weighted kick from Yuan Pathirana as well. Your kick is only as good as your chase, and the captain getting himself right up there, but the two referees will have a word. Not one ankle tap, but two ankle taps. So he's calling Samarasinghe, is it? Okay, we'll try to guess what he's saying. And I think he's saying that you can't do that. So here's the replay of it. Have a look at that. Samarasinghe was right up there. That ankle tap was definitely legal. And that second one also looked legal to me. I'm pretty sure you can do that in rugby, Abdullah.
Yeah, well, referee, or rather the assistant referee Alexander thought otherwise. So it's a penalty in favor of Kingswood. Let's leave it at that as an opportunity for Kingswood to drive play back into Royals' half.
A few replacements coming on for both teams. Royal switching their front row as well as Kingswood, but we'll have a look at that replay again.
That was the first ankle tap by the Royal skipper. Kingswood player did well to get back on his feet. And the second ankle tap was what was deemed illegal. Royal managing to pinch that line out. The Kingswood defense up pretty quickly. So Yuan Pathirana has made his way into the ground, and that's a really good finder. Pathirana follows up his kick. Royal have managed to retrieve possession. They just need to get the ball out wide as soon as possible. It's the big man. Needed to get the ball out wide. Mohammed getting the ball out to Pathirana. Kingswood defense has regrouped, but Royal need to spread the ball out wide. They have numbers. So almost a drop and some desperate defense by Kingswood. Brilliant cover defense, you'd have to say. But Royal still hold on to position. Mohammed. Ranasinghe. Just short of the line. And Royal comfortably over. It's their blind slide flanker, Aman, who goes over for Royal's third Amana bank try. And it all started from that wonderful kick ahead by Yuan Pathirana.
Well, we were just talking about in the break how much of an impact the bench would make. And Yuan Pathirana has come off the bench and made a huge impact. The two kicks that he's put so far has put Royal in perfect attacking position. But you also have to say that Kingswood really did try to defend their lines very well.
Yes, that cover defense by Kingswood was brilliant. Just forced Royal to create another additional 2 phases to make that third try. But for Royal, you'd have to say those the impact of the 2 Pathiranas off the bench, Disas and Yuan, is having a positive effect. An opportunity for Farooq to further extend the lead. Strikes it well and it bisects the post. So Royal going to a 4-point lead, 21 points to 17. And you'd have to say, Abid, this is where Kingswood's endurance, both in terms of fitness and strength, is going to be tested.
Well, it's not just the endurance, isn't it? It's the depth in the squad and the bench that comes on, and that's something that Royal are very lucky to have. They've got match winners on the bench that can come on and spark something for them, and that's exactly what, like you mentioned, the two Patiranas have done for them. And now Kingswood looking to get fresh legs on the park. All the scoring in the second half have been done by Royal, and with a little less than 15 minutes to go, it looks like Royal have slowly but surely taken the driving seat in this game. They're 4 points ahead of Kingswood. And what happens off of this kickoff will be very important.
So play recommences. Now Royal, you can see breaking tackles, making some good ground. Deciding to go on the short side and bring their big players into the field now. This is where Royal just need to be much more accurate. A needless pass, you'd have to say, by Vijay Ratna. I think a better option would have been to create a phase and just kick the ball downfield, make Kingswood run back at them. But as a result of that knock-on, they're given Kingswood an opportunity to launch another attack.
Well, cynical, isn't it? You've just scored a try and it maybe want to keep the ball and get the kick downfield and get the opposition forwards running back because you've already tired them quite a bit.
This looks like there's been a replacement. So Yatavara has been replaced by Nazir. Kingswood with the feed. Deciding to go on the short side. Again, bit lateral by Kingswood in attack. Trying to use their big men. Eventually just managing to get behind that first line of defense by Royal. But again, it's just slow ball, isn't it, Abid, for Kingswood? Allowing Royal's defense to realign. But the important thing is Kingswood, they do have possession of the ball. But again, it's slow. It looks like Kingswood deciding to go for a drop kick, which is not successful. So that's what happens when you get slow ball. Three quarters run out of options. And it was not much front football either.
Well, the Kingswood pack looks very tired, don't they? Lots of hands on hips. The humidity catching up as Farooq hacks it downfield.
Kingswood an opportunity to launch a counter-attack, but deciding to go to the boot. Farooq just playing with fire on that occasion. But they managed to retain possession. Kingswood trying to launch an attack. Royal's defense really being tested here. Kingswood have brought in some fresh legs as well. Hettia Rachi carrying for Kingswood. Now deciding to go to the line. And that was a block kick. But looks like referee has his hands out for calling an advantage.
It looks like he's gone to the pocket and shown the card to Yuan Patirana. And that should be a game-defining moment because Patirana seemed to be the one that was really sparking stuff for Royal. We're not too sure why he has been sent down. If we could have a picture of the referee, we'd know exactly why.
Yeah, well, he looks like he has penalized Royal for a bit of back chat. So Royal will need to manage the rest of the game with 14 players. So an opportunity here for Kingswood.
Kingswood need to be clinical here. The opposition is one man down. And they are in the best part of the field if they are to attack and score a try. 8 minutes remaining on our clock. Kingswood one score away.
Yes, Royal down to 14 players as well. So Kingswood do have the advantage in the backs. So it'll be interesting to see whether they will exploit that or whether they will try a driving maul of their own. See Kingswood bringing on the replacements as well. So it's a throw in by Rasanjana. Finds his man. But the maul has gone down, so Kingswood be forced to go to the line. Some good defense by Royal, but Kingswood have managed to retain possession. Go on the short side. Another face created. This is good by Kingswood, attacking along the fringes. Royal's defense backtrotting. Another pick and go. Again attacking along the fringes is Kingswood. Referee has his hands out for an advantage. Again attacking along the fringes. Just a couple of meters away, Kingswood. And have they gone over? Looks like it has been held up. But the referee will come back for the penalty advantage. So Royal desperately clinging on.
Well, very good stuff around the fringes from Kingswood. They've really started to make some headway. And they look like they're going to continue going and use the same mantra. They cracked the Royal dam on a couple of occasions. And now a penalty move. But the Royal defense is up to the task. Kingswood will pick and go again. And now they're picking the ball up a bit fast, and the advantage comes their way as well. A bit too high on that occasion, but Kingswood still going, still rumbling. They want the try. And will they have the try? They do have the try. Kingswood score through their forwards. The Royal Dam and the Royal defensive line was tested on multiple occasions, and finally it cracked Abdullah. Kingswood have the lead in this game, and they have a 1-point lead.
Yes, Dilshan Akila, who went over for that try, but what a wonderful effort by the Kingswood 8. Showed good discipline. Inch by inch they took it forward. Really asking questions of that Royal fringe defense. And eventually Akila putting the finishing touches to that attack. And the conversion is successful. So it's 24 points to 21. And we've approached the final 4.5 minutes of this game.
Well, Kingswood a really gutsy effort so far. Well, before this game started and when I walked into Longdon Place, I thought it would have been a walk in the park for Royal. But they've completely proved me wrong, and not just me wrong. Many of the viewers tuning in to the Papare and at the pavilion here today. Kingswood lead by 3 points and just 4 minutes remaining in this game. And now they need to be smart if they want to win this game. As Idris Farooq kicks us off, it goes into the 22. Samarasinghe is right up there again. He's done that all day so far.
Yes, game management as far as Kingswood here is going to be crucial. Again, not finding touch. Idris Farooq collects. Will try to spark something for his team. But this time, Kingswood once again penalized. Again, taking a quick tap. But looks like referee is going to call play back. Just not sure why play has been called back, but I guess it was the wrong place from where the penalty has been taken. So the chasers were in front of the kicker as adjudicated by referee Atawara. So Royal will have no option. Go to touch. And if there was a moment where Royals driving maul need to come to the fore, this is it. Have a look at that once again. You can see the Kingswood forwards just not retreating.
Well, not that they were just not retreating, they were advancing as well, Abdullah. Just from that ruck, very lazy from the Kingswood forwards. But now they hit Aman. Altaf Aman has it, but the Kingswood defense is right up to the task. And if ever there was a defensive effort of them all, that was it. But Royal have a penalty. They go to their centre, the number 12, Hiruka Jaidunu. Patirana lifts it and gives it to his flanker. He needs support. Naqib Mohammed is there for. Now they go to the line. Farooq sends it in again to Jaidinu, who runs a good line. And have they stolen it, Kingswood? Yes, they have, but they'll go back for another penalty advantage. What do Royal do from here? If they go for the 3, they can equal scoring, but they definitely don't want to do that. They want to get the win. It's knockout footy, and they take it quickly. And off your screen, Royal have gone over for the try. They have gone over to score a try that would probably win them the game.
And there's no surprise that it's that man, this Patirana, who goes over for what could very well be the match-winning try for Royal. What an impact he has had off the bench for this Royal outfit. Patirana taking it upon himself to get the job done, selling a dummy and comfortably going over. So 24, or rather it's now 26 points to 24. Less than a minute on our clock. Farooq. Strikes it well. And it's over. So it's 28 points to 24. This game has swung back and forth. And what entertainment it has been. Not exactly the most clinical execution by both teams, but in terms of suspense and drama, it's just definitely lived up in knockout footy.
Well, what an impact that boy, this Patirana, has had on this game, isn't it, Abdullah? He's really got them a lot of go-ahead ball. And it's only worthy that he scores the winning try, if that was going to be the winning try. If that were to be the winning try, rather. Royal lead by 4 points. As it's 70 minutes up on our clock. Kingswood kick it deep. Patirana will clear his tracks and will put in a beauty of a kick. It's well weighted. And Kingswood, the number 25, unfortunately, has just rolled that ball in to touch Senura Premaratna on that occasion. And what a kick from Idris Farooq at this stage of the game, Abdullah.
Yes, what was good about that kick was that he managed to find space. So Royal will just need to manage possession here. Not try to do anything too extravagant. Most importantly, they need to keep play in this half and hold on to possession. Patirana holding on to the ball. Farooq just drills it downfield. Unfortunately, he's kicked it out on the full. Can understand what he was trying to do, but the execution was a bit faulty, unfortunately. So Royal have got Yuan Patirana back onto the field. I think Kingswood will now need to try and go to the line, isn't it, Abid? I just don't think they can afford to keep it tight. The three quarters need to step up. They've shortened the line out. It's a 4-man line out. Dulisha with the throw-in. Good spoil by Royal. They managed to hold on to possession. Just need to keep it a bit tight here. Again, just not quite sure whether Royal needed to go out wide so early. Mohammed taking the ball into contact. Getting the ball out is Patirana. Low ranging kick. Royal just now need to be a bit accurate in terms of their chase. And Kingswood have committed an error. Royal need to try and capitalize it. Not quite sure why they were so slow in getting that ball out wide. Patirana deciding to kick ahead. And just going into touch. So Royal wouldn't mind that, as the referee has called the end of the game. And what a game it has been. Kingswood travelling down to Colombo, very nearly pulling off the first upset of this knockout tournament, but Royal eventually prevailing. But hats off to the Kingswood lads, threw everything at this Royal outfit. And eventually you'd have to say some of those subs who came off the bench for Royal proving to be the difference. And Royal, 28 points to 24, have made it to the quarterfinal.
Well, Royal just winning this one off the scruff of their teeth. They'll go back to the drawing board. Yes, they've won this game, but a lot of things to put right for Royal. But you really have to give it to that Kingswood outfit that you see on your screen there. They really do deserve to keep their heads up high, because they've really put on a show here. The rugby on display hasn't been the most technical and the best to watch, Abdullah, but it has been a real stop-start affair and an end-to-end affair, where both teams have just kept on throwing jabs at each other, and finally Royal threw the final jab, and the jab that knocked out Kingswood 28 points to 4. These are the highlights of that game. And that man on your screen, Disas Patirana, who is also a Swiss Tech player of the match, really came on in the second half and made a huge impact. It's not many times that you see a player that comes off the bench winning a player of the match. But on this occasion, Disas Patirana was right up there. In every single passage of play that Royal had in the second half, he got himself involved. This was that big moment in the game where Amika Samarasinghe had 2 ankle taps, but was deemed a penalty. This was the try that broke the deadlock for Royal. Altaf Aman, a little bit of tired legs for Kingswood, and I think that's what really gave this game away for them, Abdullah, isn't it? The conditioning. They were right in it. Yes, they did score this try, but that was pure gutsy effort from them. But from there on, it was their forwards and their backs that were a little too tired to contain this Royal forward pack. And the kicking of Yuan Patirana that they had to always track back to chase. He was in the bin for 10 minutes, Yuan Patirana. And that's the moment, the bit of the game where Kingswood really came back into this game. And as soon as Patirana came back, the kicks that he put in really put Royal into the right parts of the field. And then this, he really did deserve that try. If Royal have anyone to thank for winning this game, it's the 2 Patiranas, and Disas Patirana really does deserve a huge lot of credit for that.
Yeah, so these are the key stats for the game. Royal, 28 points to 24. It's interesting that it's the 2 conversions that were eventually proved to be the difference. Both teams scoring 4 tries each. And of course, our Swiss Tech player of the match, Royal's number 8, who came off the bench today, Disas Patirana. So that's it for today here at London Place. We've just completed a pre-quarter final, and Royal will live to fight for another week, and they will take on DSN Anayaka in that quarter final next Sunday. So until then, and till we meet again, from the Papare crew, Abid and myself, it's good evening to everyone.
Stand by for opener.
Sri Lanka's #1 sports channel, ThePapare.
3, 2, 1, roll.
ඉතින් ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ අංක ක්‍රීඩා නාලිකාව ThePapare සමග.
Welcome back to ThePapare.
Welcome to the live broadcast on ThePapare.
Good luck, guys. Good luck, everyone.
The Papare, Sri Lanka's #1 television sports channel.
Keep sweating. Keep pushing the limits. Keep stepping up your game. Keep shining. Keep rising. No matter what your fitness goal is, we are always there by you, with you. Iodex. Get. Spray. Go.
Seat Car Radials. The road is yours.
ලස්සන පල්ලෝකේ කොත්තුමි සර විහිදේ හික්කක සිත බැන්දා මාතේ ෆයිවර ෆැෂන් අපේ හිටක බදේ හොටේ හොටේ ස්පයිසි ගස් මාතේ රසේ ප්‍රීමා කොත්තුමි ෆාම් තමයි.
Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Creamy richness redefined. Smooth, soft, spreadable. Introducing Fondre with canola and sunflower oil.
එක පැත්තකින් වාගෙනදී තව පැත්තකින් මතුවෙනවා. මේ ටයිල් එක බෑ. දෙක තුනක් කැඩිලත් එක්ක.
චොමරි අක්කා. ජීවිත කාලය පුරාම අල්ලන් ඉන්න නම් ටයිල් අල්ලන්න ඕන ස්විස් ටෙක් ටයිල් ඇඩිසිව්.
ස්විස් ටෙක් ටයිල් ඇඩිසිව් අල්ලන්න හොඳම කෙනා.
Maliban lemon puff puff, lemon puff, Maliban lemon puff. හැම සිතක්ම පිපිදේ, රස lemon රසයේ. ජීවිතයම මිහිරයි. Maliban lemon puff puff, lemon puff, Maliban lemon puff, Maliban lemon puff. Chill when lemon.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Seat Car Radials. The road is yours.
එක පැත්තකින් වාගෙනදී තව පැත්තකින් මතුවෙනවා. මේ ටයිල් එක බෑ. දෙක තුනක් කැඩිලත් එක්ක.
චොමරි අක්කා. ජීවිත කාලය පුරාම අල්ලන් ඉන්න නම් ටයිල් අල්ලන්න ඕන ස්විස් ටෙක් ටයිල් ඇඩිසිව්.
ස්විස් ටෙක් ටයිල් ඇඩිසිව් අල්ලන්න හොඳම කෙනා.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence. Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence.
කොහෙන් හරි කමන්නේ ෆොටෝ එක තිබ්බනම් මට මේ බිත්තිය කැත වහගන්න තිබ්බා.
චොමරි අක්කා. පිටියට ස්විස් ටෙක් ස්කිම් කෝඩ් ගාලා ෆිනිෂ් කළා නම් ඔය ප්‍රශ්න මුකුත් නැහැ.
ස්විස් ටෙක් ස්කිම් කෝට් ෆිනිෂ් එකට හොඳම කෙනා.
Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence.
ලස්සන පල්ලෝකේ කොත්තුමි සර විහිදේ හික්කක සිත බැන්දා මාතේ ෆයිවර ෆැෂන් අපේ
හිටක බදේ හොටේ
හොටේ ස්පයිසි ගස් මාතේ රසේ ප්‍රීමා කොත්තුමි ෆාම් තමයි.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
වතුරත් ලීක් වෙලා ස්ලැබ් එකත් ඉවරයි. බලන්නකො දැන් සාලේ කැත. චමරි.
ස්විස්ටෙක් ඇක්වාෂීල් 2K waterproof දැම්මනම් වතුර කාන්දු වෙන්නෙත් නෑ. හිතටත් නිදහස්.
ස්විස්ටෙක් ඇක්වාෂීල් 2K waterproofer සීල් කරන්න හොඳම කෙනා.
Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence.
Maliban lemon puff puff, lemon puff, Maliban lemon puff. හැමසිතක්ම පිබිදේ, රස lemon රසයේ. ජීවිතයම මිහිරයි. Maliban lemon puff puff, lemon puff, Maliban lemon puff, Maliban lemon puff. Chill when lemon.
Park Avenue, long-lasting fragrance, unshakable confidence.
Our mountains are majestic. They can be life-giving. Some are even sacred, and their heights bear marks of our heritage. Our mountains elevate us. To us, they are ever inspiring.
Bring that inspiration home. Lanka Tiles. Fine living. Redefined.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සදහමයි.
Seat car radials. The road is yours.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සදහමයි.